It is trite that over the years, Uganda has had a turbulent political terrain characterized by brutal military regimes, social, political, economic, and security crises, which have been exacerbated by the current 40-year family rule. The blatant abuse of the law, plunder of national resources, mismanagement of state affairs, fraudulent conduct of elections, and the abhorrent dehumanization of the citizens can only serve to awaken our consciousness to the need for us all to collectively accelerate the levers for liberation struggle to execute the mission up to its logical conclusion in order to extricate our motherland from the shackles of dictatorship. That is a calling and a clarion call under our Constitution. We should constantly remind ourselves about the elephant in the room. Which elephant has oftentimes been succinctly adumbrated by our leader, the patriarch, retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye, which is the systematic and systemic whittling of sovereign authority of the people of Uganda as a direct consequence of the coup d'etat that was executed by the Museveni dynasty against the constitutional order. And that is the crux of the matter. This constitutional order was overthrown by General Kaguta Museveni. Dr. Besigye has oftentimes explained this, that they went to the bush, General Mutu can bear testimony to this, captured the state power, statutory instrument number one was executed in 1986 that proclaimed the usurpation of people's sovereign power, which was vested in the army. And now the army was also deposed, was also overthrown by General Kaguta Museveni. The power was grabbed from the army and vested in the family of the Kaguta dynasty. And now, that's where now power resides. This has always been explained by Dr. Kiza Besigye. The sovereign authority of this country is no longer the citizenry. The sovereign authority does not reside within the people and the constitution. It resides in the family of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. In the midst of all this political imbroglio, I can proudly state that our gallant members and millions of Ugandans, under the tutelage of our aforesaid patriarch, retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye, who is currently incarcerated, albeit illegally, at Luzira, have unwaveringly stayed the course and staged a sustained and relentless pushback. I thank you very, very much for that resilience. Today, I am deeply honored and profoundly humbled to stand before you, fellow compatriots, on this momentous occasion of launching our new formation, the People's Front for Freedom, a political formation with the DNA of defiance, resilience, grit, and non-compliance with oppression and suppression. That is our DNA.
Pray for Dr. Besigye, Uganda as a spectacular leader and a fighter for freedom in Africa. I see Dr. Besigye as a unique intellectual in Africa. And if I were to borrow the words of Professor Ali Mazui, who mentored me in Makerere, I would define him as follows. He's a simple-minded person, is passionate, is a loving politician, is an adventurer, but above all, is a man fascinated by ideas and has acquired the skill to handle those ideas effectively. When Honorable Wafula Ogutu was giving a speech, I did not want him to stop, because when he made a hint that they are now shooting towards federal governance in Uganda, I realized that the work of John Kenry Chams is becoming easier. Ugandans should wake up, because since our independence, when we secured a federal constitution to regionalize the areas of Uganda under a cover of unity and diversity, and Obote came to destroy it in 1966, we have never recovered. The country is on fire. Every government we bring in falls short of the principles that made us to fight for our independence. I therefore urge you very seriously to make sure that we come together, help one another. In fact, I want to tell you that as I was speaking, I realized that your work is going to become very easy, because you are tackling the areas that have long been ignored.
We are so delighted that we were warmly welcomed to this environment in which we want to participate alongside your directives to ensure that we create a Uganda that works for everyone. My last 30 years, I have made a contribution to the national politics of this country, from the Uganda Young Democrats to the Democratic Party, where I served for quite a long time. Dr. Kizza Besigye came for the last funeral rites ceremony of my father and predicted that all institutions of government, including private institutions, are going to be captured. And he said, in Uganda, mujja kubeerawo nga muwoza DP egumire bajja giwamba, era bagiwamba. Mr. Kaija, you were there, and he predicted so. For those of you who didn't know, that our leaders have got focus on a number of things that we are not clearly seeing. Dr. Besigye is visionary, and he predicted so, and it happened. But I also saw what was likely to happen together with my friends, and said to ourselves, we are going to go a full circle until we see the thief naked. We went through a process, and we went to Mbarara in the National Delegates Conference, and we won the battle very well until the junta had to show his way. Comes in with a lot of guns. They participated as if we were delegates. They rob in broad daylight, and they declare what they wanted to declare, and there we are, orphaned by our conscience. We regathered, and we said, we are not accompanying you to the armpits of President Museveni. You can go with a DP-NRM cocktail party, which we don't belong to. We are the DP of Ben Chiwanuka, the man who was martyred for fighting for freedom, for fighting for justice, human rights. And then we said, how can we exist alone in this orphanage? And then we found that there are people who have been trusted, tested over time, and they have been fighting in the trenches. They are found at PFF, and that's where we are.
It's unfortunate today we do not have our colleague in the struggle, our brother, a colleague leader, Dr. Kizza Besigye. It's unfortunate that we don't even have a government that observes the Constitution. Whatever charges were put against Dr. Kizza Besigye and our other colleague Haji Obed Rutare, whatever charges were put against them, whatever the processes of trial and anything else, whatever the problems that there are in that process. But there is a constitutional provision that if anybody serves 180 days he automatically gets bail. They have even contravened that. But the struggle has to continue until all our colleagues, not only Dr. Chiza Besije and Obed Rutare, but all other colleagues in the struggle who are in prison in various places in this country. There are many young people of NUP who are in prisons all over. Many of opposition parties, some don't even have parties. They are there in prisons. That struggle has to continue. We thank the lawyers who have sustained that effort. The leader of PFF, Honorable Mlodi, Elias Lukwago, we thank you for the effort that you have consistently put up. May the Lord give you strength and resilience to continue with all the teams of leaders, national as well as regional and international, to pursue that until freedom of our colleagues is achieved. We've come here as a delegation. You have seen 5 of us. We are 8. Those of you who may recall what happened last week, I think, last week when we signed the Memorandum of Understanding. There is the central body of this cooperation under the MOU called the Common Ground Council, and it has 8 from PFF, 8 from Alliance for National Transformation. Here, as we've been introduced, we are 5. There are 3 colleagues who are not around. Honorable Cassiano Wadri, who's in West Nile, is not being able to come. There is Honorable Winnie Chiza, who's, I think, in Sierra Leone. She's outside, she's not around here. And the 8th one is Ambassador Ida Sempala, who is not here. Our apologies on their behalf.
To our youth, you are not too young to lead. To our women, you are not too weak to stand, and you have stood, especially the women in PFF and the ANT. To our elders, your wisdom will guide this country forward. We in civil society know that the road is very rough. It's getting rougher for us. But we remember that a people united in truth can never be defeated. Let your response be discipline. Let your weapon be ideas. Let your victory be democracy. Our country is at a critical stage of an election where majority voters, the 10.7 million that Honorable Semju talked about, the young people, have no or limited voter education. I have not seen myself any voter education going on in this country. I was introduced as a chairperson of the Global Network for Domestic Election Observers, and I observe elections group-wide. But I've been denied accreditation to do voter education. And I will not apply for observation to embarrass myself, because voter education is less critical. Critical national civil society organizations have been blocked by the people with powers to accredit. I'm sure you are also aware that critical media organizations are facing a blockade on national functions where the president is appearing.